Well, I guess we're going back to our roots here with the ladies of Hoplite Social because we're going back to desserts with beer. Yes! And we're talking peach cobbler, a deconstructed peach cobbler today. So joining us are Carla and Christina from Hoplite Social and also Jesse from Green Flash Brewing Company. You're going to tell us about the beer that we're using today.
Yeah, I will. It's a delicious release that we're going to be coming out with on September 17th. It's a
The same then. We have just one version right here, right?
So we have boysenberry. Yes, this is going to be the Oca Fermento I was just talking about.
Okay.
This is a pretty, it's 17.5%. So it's going to go straight to the point.
Yeah, that's more than a wine.
Yeah, a lot more.
That's a lot. All right, well let's get to making the deconstructed peach cobbler here. Carla, you said you're going to cook off.
That's really good.
Is it a compote?
Yes, it's a boysenberry compote. So I used the other beer, that tart one, to make a compote with fresh raspberries.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The flavor is really great. I mean, I can't try the beer right now, obviously, but the flavor is really great.
Yeah, I'm trying it for you.
Okay. At the brewing house.
At the tasting room, we're going to release it on September 17th. We'll be open at noon. It's a limited release of 600 bottles. So be early. Their last limited release we did, we sold out all of them in 3 hours.
Is it just the tasting room, or can you find it anywhere else?
Just the tasting room.
Okay, so we have to go to Green Flash Brewing Company tasting room to find this yummy beer.
Make sure you go to our Poway location.
Poway location.
Okay.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah,
all right, thanks guys for joining us. We're going to put this up on the website.
Thank you. Cheers.
So you can see the recipe and how to do it yourself.
Yep.
And again, the beer is available September 17th. All right, coming up. Mama's excited about that one. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at our weekend forecast. We were waking up to low clouds this morning, looking out over toward Ramona, over Mount Woodson. We are seeing those clouds down to 200 feet in Ramona, and we are going to see them clear a little bit later this morning. Warmer temperatures today, warmer still tomorrow, but still below average for this time of year. So let's check out our visibilities first. Down to a quarter mile in Ramona, under 2 miles in Escondido, same thing in La Mesa. But it's really just Ramona that we're concerned about because the clouds are generally above 1,000 feet everywhere else, and we won't be seeing the threat of visibility under a mile anywhere else but Ramona. Again, the clouds will clear a little bit later this morning. By 8:30, clearing from the foothills and some of our inland valleys, and then by 10:30, 11, clear everywhere, including the coastline. Temperatures today will be a little warmer than yesterday, largely in the 70s and low 80s. We'll hit 79 in Kearney Mesa, 76 in San Diego, and 78 in Chula Vista. Out over toward our inland spots, getting to the mid and upper 80s today in places like El Cajon, Valley Center, Ramona, and Poway. It'll be 83 in Fallbrook, 80 in San Marcos, 81 in Rancho Bernardo, 85 for Julian today, 92 in Campo, and 103 out in Borrego. We do have big changes coming in the 7-day forecast, a big cool down in store. We'll have more on that coming up here in just a bit. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic. Foothills, there it is. The low clouds here will start pushing away within the next hour from the foothills, and then we'll start to see clearing closer to the coastline a little bit later this morning. Right now, 60 degrees up in the mountains, so it is chilly in the mountains. It'll be 83 by noon and 80 degrees at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Taking a look at the high temperatures around the rest of the county, we're going to warm for our inland spots today into the mid and upper 80s. We'll hit 87 in Ramona, 86 in El Cajon, and 85 in Poway. Closer to the coastline, still in the 70s today, so very little change at the coast, but we'll be up to 6 degrees warmer through our inland spots. We'll see that warming through Alpine. It'll be 4 degrees warmer in Campo as well as Ramona, and 3 degrees warmer in Escondido and Poway. Temperatures still below average for this time of year, just slightly below where we should be near the coast. But for our inland spots, several degrees below average, 4 degrees below where we should be in Escondido and 7 degrees below average in La Mesa. If you're headed to the coastline today, we have fair conditions for you surfers, but a high risk of strong rip currents today. So be careful if you are headed out into the water. Area of low pressure approaching the Pacific Northwest is going to change our weather into next week. So right now the storm track well to the north, but it's going to buckle down to the south as this area of low pressure rides the west coast down through California and Nevada. And that's going to mean a big cool down into next week. Let's taking a look at your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel. The cool down will be looking out at San Miguel, and we have a blanket of low cloud coverage here stretching all the way out to the foothills of the mountains. These low clouds will clear by about 10 o'clock at the latest. It's going to be warmer today than what we saw yesterday. Temperatures up to 6 degrees warmer for our inland spots, bringing us still into the 70s and 80s, which is below average for this time of year. Visibility right now continues to be sharply reduced out in Ramona, where clouds are down to 200 feet. We have visibility down to a quarter mile there. Everywhere else, the clouds are above 1,000 feet, so visibility isn't really an issue. But the clouds, as you can see, all the way out to Ramona this morning, going to start clearing this hour. By 9 o'clock, we'll see some clearer skies out over toward our inland spots, and then really 10 to 11, that's when we'll have clear skies everywhere else. Temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s again today, but a little warmer than yesterday. 79 for Kearney Mesa and Lemon Grove, 78 in Chula Vista. It'll be 80 in La Mesa. We'll get to the upper 80s in places like Valley Center and Ramona. 85 for Poway today, 83 in Fallbrook. We'll be in the 70s up the North County coastline. It'll also be 77 in Camp Pendleton, 79 in Mount Laguna. We'll be in the low 80s in Palomar Mountain and in Julian today. If you're headed out to see the Padres take on the Rockies tonight, a 7:40 game time start. Increasing cloud cover through the game. It'll be 70 degrees by the time the first pitch is thrown and 68 by later in the evening. For you surfers, we have fair conditions off the San Diego coastline today, but a high risk of strong rip currents. So keep that in mind if you are headed into the water. We'll hit high tide around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Coming up, we have some big changes in the 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at your 7-day for what you can expect into early next week. But first, let's our forecast this morning. We're waking up to low cloud coverage, looking live out towards Mount Woodson, or from Mount Woodson out towards Ramona, rather. You can see the blanket of low clouds here still intact. For our inland spots right now, we're in the 60s. By noon today, we'll be in the low to mid 80s, and by 5 o'clock we'll see breezy conditions, wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour, and temperatures still in the low 80s inland. So right now it is 63 in Lakeside, 64 in El Cajon, 63 in La Mesa, 65 for Encinitas. Out towards Alpine, Pine Valley, and Campo, as well as Ramona, temperatures are still in the 50s right now. But we're headed for the 70s and 80s today for the most part. 87 in Ramona, 86 in Alpine. It'll be 85 out in Poway and 80 in La Mesa. At the coastline, we'll be in the 70s, so very little change coastside today from what we saw yesterday, but our inland spots as much as 6 degrees warmer. Alpine, you'll warm 6 degrees today, 4 degrees warmer in Ramona and Pine Valley, up 3 degrees in El Cajon. That's not going to change our temperatures being below average. We're still 1 to 7 degrees below where we should be today. The farther away from the coastline you go, the more below average will be. We do have an area of low pressure that's pushing into the Pacific Northwest. You see it there, keeping the storm track to the north right now, but the storm track will buckle down to the south into next week, and that's going to mean a big cool down. So taking a look at your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel, the cool away. So we're going to see these clouds clear by 9 to 10 o'clock for most locations. Temperatures will be warmer today, 1 to 6 degrees warmer than yesterday, but still below average, and we're going to stay below average through the extended period. Let's take a look at our visibility. Still down to a quarter mile in Ramona, where clouds are at 200 feet. Everywhere else, clouds are above 1,000 feet, so visibility hasn't been an issue. But those clouds, again, starting to break away, and we'll see clearing by 9 to 10 for most locations. Today, temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s for the most part, hitting 79 in Kearney Mesa and Lemon Grove, 80 in La Mesa, 76 in downtown San Diego. We'll get to 86 in Valley Center, 87 for Ramona, 85 down in Poway. We'll be in the 70s along the North County coastline. A mix of 70s and 80s for the mountains, and 92 down in Campo. Temperatures, though, still below average for this time of year. Closer to the coastline, we are a lot closer to average than, say, our inland spots, where it'll be 7 degrees below average today in La Mesa. We do have this area of low pressure that's going to be approaching the Pacific Northwest and dropping the jet stream because it's going to move down through California into Nevada. With that, we're going to see cooler weather ushered in for early next week. So take a look at this desert temperature trend. Temperatures topping the triple digits the next few days and plummeting to the low 90s by early next week. Your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel will show you the same trend everywhere else except the immediate coastline, where the cooling will be more subtle. Clearing out in our back lot, and we're seeing clearing skies around much of the county already. We're looking live from Mount Woodson out towards Ramona. There's a couple patches of the low cloud coverage remaining, but again, clearing away right now. Temperatures will be warmer today, anywhere from 1 to 6 degrees warmer than yesterday, bringing us back into the low to mid 80s in a number of locations. We are going to be even warmer tomorrow, but still temperatures will remain below average as we move through the weekend. Right now, we're looking at temperatures largely in the 60s, although we're still hanging on to the 50s in Ramona. It's 58 there, 59 in Campo, and we've climbed to 71 in Mira Mesa, also 70 degrees out in Pine Valley. But it's 68 in Del Mar, 67 in Encinitas. This afternoon, we're going to reach the 70s at the immediate coastline, getting to 74 in La Jolla, 75 in Coronado, 76 in San Diego. Our inland spots will be in the 80s, low 80s in La Mesa, upper 80s in Ramona and Valley Center, also 80 degrees in San Marcos and Mira Mesa, 81 for Rancho Bernardo. We'll be in the 70s and 80s in the mountains as well, 103 out in Borrego and 92 in Campo. If you are headed to the coastline today, for you surfers, we have fair conditions off the San Diego coastline, but a high risk of strong strong rip currents. So keep that in mind if you're headed into the water. A south-southwest swell today of 3 to 5 feet, occasionally getting higher than that with high tide coming just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Coming up, we have big changes in the 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at next week and how temperatures will drop. But first, let's get here on tonight around 8 o'clock, dropping to 70 degrees. Let's take a look at the high temperatures around the rest of the county. 83 for Fallbrook, 85 in Poway, 88 in Lakeside. Warmer through our inland spots today, but very little change at the immediate coastline. We'll remain in the 70s coastline, so that's either a degree or two warmer than yesterday, but for our inland spots, warming anywhere from 2 to 6 degrees over yesterday's readings. The mountains also a couple degrees warmer, 4 degrees warmer in Borrego, but still temperatures remain below average for this time of year, especially away from the coastline. We're going to be 7 degrees below average in La Mesa today and 4 degrees below average in Escondido. Your winning weather forecast brought to you by Valley View Casino and Hotel. A nice mild weekend in store for us, but look at early next week. Temperatures drop off significantly, dropping to the low 70s for anywhere in the county except for the deserts through Tuesday. We'll also see gusty winds on Tuesday and Wednesday for the mountains and deserts, with temperatures running anywhere from 10 to even 15 degrees below average. All right, Darlene, you've got someone